It's been almost 25 years since Indian Airlines flight IC814 embarked on the fateful journey from Kathmandu to Delhi, but the tale of the high-stakes crisis known as the Kandahar Hijack that unfolded in December 1999 is still a gripping and complex saga. Known to be the longest hijack in Indian aviation history, the incident dominated front pages of every newspaper at the turn of the millennium. On the 24th of December 1999, Indian Airlines flight IC814, an Airbus A300, departed from Tribhuvan International Airport in Kathmandu. The aircraft was en route to Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi. It was carrying 179 passengers and 11 crew members. Just 45 minutes into the flight, as the plane entered the Indian airspace, it was hijacked by 5 masked men. The hijackers were armed and dangerous with a clear objective: to secure the release of Islamist terrorists held in India. Their demands led to a tense and dramatic sequence of events as the wheels of diplomacy, bureaucracy, and geopolitical machinery began turning in various permutations and combinations. The hijackers diverted the plane to several locations. The first stop was Amritsar, where the aircraft landed briefly. From there, it was flown to Lahore and then to Dubai for refueling. Finally, the aircraft arrived in Taliban-controlled Kandahar in Afghanistan on the 25th of December in 1999. This marked the beginning of a grueling 7-day standoff that captured global attention. The key figures involved, from the courageous crew to the high-level negotiators and subsequently the released terrorists, each played a crucial role in this complex and high-stakes crisis. Throughout this harrowing ordeal, 37-year-old captain of the flight Devi Sharan and first officer Rajinder Kumar were under immense pressure. Sharan was forced to fly at dangerously low terrain with rock-bottom fuel levels and denied ATC permission multiple times on multiple locations to land. Despite the dire circumstances, he managed to maintain a sense of calm. He even recounted moments of camaraderie with the hijackers, including telling jokes and engaging in games to alleviate the tension among the hostages. After the standoff ended on the 31st of December 1999, Captain Devi Sharan got a hero's welcome back home in India. A.S. Dulat, the then head of research and analysis wing, that's the RAW, was deeply involved in managing the crisis and faced significant political pressure, particularly from former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah, who was critical of the decision to release the militants demanded by the hijackers. In Dulat's book, Kashmir, the Vajpayee Years, he detailed the challenges he faced, including the tense situation when the plane was in Dubai. There were even considerations of a commando raid, though it was ultimately not pursued due to lack of cooperation from local authorities. Current National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who had taken part in several important assignments, including negotiations to secure the release of the hostages, was also an integral part of this team. And then there was the Director General of Police, Sarabjit Singh in Amritsar, who was under strict orders from then Chief Minister of Punjab, Prakash Singh Badal, to avoid any action that could lead to bloodshed when the plane landed in Amritsar for the first time after the hijack. There was a lot of speculation on whether India failed miserably to control the crisis and contain it to the homeland when the flight, without refueling, unexpectedly took off from Amritsar just after 47 minutes. And finally, the negotiations were spearheaded by Jaswant Singh, who was India's Minister for External Affairs at that time. Singh played a crucial role in the diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis. However, the BJP government faced considerable backlash as the coalition government at that time was accused of not consulting with its allies and later swallowing its pride to give in to the demands of the hijackers. In his memoir, A Call to Honor in Service of Emergent India, Singh reflected on the mission, describing it as a morally complex situation. He questioned whether the mission was a rescue operation, an act of appeasement, or a strategic compromise for future stability. The hijackers of IC814 were Ibrahim Azhar, Shahid Akhtar Saeed, Sani Ahmed Qazi, Zahoor Mistri, and Shakir. Zahoor Mistry was responsible for the only death in the entire episode, that of 25-year-old newlywed Rupin Katyal, whose body was disembarked when the plane landed in Dubai briefly. Mistry was an operative of the Harkatul Mujahideen, the HUM, an anti-India terror group operating out of Pakistan and Bangladesh at that point. According to Pakistan media reports, he was killed by two bike-borne assailants in Karachi in March 2022. The hijackers also included Masood Azhar's brothers Rauf Asghar and Ibrahim Azhar. According to reports, after the standoff was called off, the hijackers were escorted out by members of Taliban from the Kandahar tarmac. The hijackers' demands ultimately led to the release of three prominent terrorists: Umar Saeed Sheikh, jailed in New Delhi's Tihar jail; Masood Azhar, brought in from Jammu, both affiliated to the Harkatul Mujahideen; and Mushtaq Zargar, a Kashmiri militant picked up from Srinagar. Needless to say, their release had profound implications. The real prize of the lot, Maulana Muhammad Masood Azhar, is believed to have founded the terrorist outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed shortly after India released him. Jaish at one point became the third largest militant group operating in Kashmir Valley after Hizbul Mujahideen and Lashkar-e-Toiba. Masood Azhar steered the Jaish through the 2001 Jammu and Kashmir Assembly and Indian Parliament attacks, the 2016 Pathankot Air Base, Uri and Nagrota attacks, and 2019 Pulwama attack. Last known, he was in Pakistan's safe haven with more than a little help from China. Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh trained in Pakistan and Afghanistan before being sent to India for kidnapping Western terrorists, and later served time in Indian jail from 1994 to 1999, became a significant figure in the Jaish-e-Mohammed. After his release, he was held responsible for abduction and murder of the Wall Street Journal journalist Daniel Pearl, though the Pakistani Supreme Court later dismissed all charges and ordered for Sheikh's release. And lastly, Mushtaq Ahmad Zargar, another of the released militants who went on to float his own militant outfit known as Al-Umar Mujahideen, that is the AUM, after the Militant for Passengers exchange. Later, he drew recruits from Kashmir and also grew closer to Masood Azhar's Jaish, actively coordinating with Jaish-e-Mohammed operatives to launch attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. Many deliberations and discussions took place in the aftermath of the hijack. For New Delhi, which had just begun making global fight against terrorism a cornerstone of its foreign policy in the 1990s, the cost of the hijacking drama was unbearable. Though the passengers and the crew of IC-814 returned home after a 7-day turmoil at the break of dawn in the Y2K era, India ultimately paid a very steep price in both blood and prestige.